All right, so let's talk about your Chapter 2 vocabulary. Most of the words in this vocabulary are going to be verbs because, as I said, when we start to learn Latin, you're going to start with verbs first. So the first one we just talked about, amo, amare, amavi, amatum. It means to love or to like. One of the things I want to point out here is, do you see that it, right there, that's got a macron on top of it? These words have what we call macrons on them, and they just make the vowels, what we say, long. So that just helps us to know how to pronounce the words. And the other thing I want to point out to you as well is, do you see this V right here? The Romans pronounced V's like W's. So amo, amari, amawi, amatum. I don't give you a pronunciation grade in class, but it's good to know. Now, do you remember the first principal part is I? So all of these verbs here, the first part is principal part there. You see how they all end the same? Canto, laboro, navigo, opugno. The first principal part always ends in that O right there. And the second principal part, do you remember it always starts with a to love? So this, what we get the definition when I ask you, what does amo or amari mean? You just give me the infinitive, to love or to like. And same thing here, to sing. That comes from the second, that's just the second principal part. So canto, cantare, cantavi, cantatum, to sing. And if we were going to translate canto, cantare, cantavi, cantatum, it would be I sing, to sing, I sang, sung, just like we did in the earlier video with amare. But one of the things I want to talk to you about is derivatives, because what makes Latin, I think, really cool is the Romans had this huge, far-reaching effect on the entire world. And 80% of the polysyllabic words, that means words that have more than one syllable in English, actually come from Latin. So you're going to read lots of words that you'll be able to recognize. If you read Harry Potter, all the spells are done in Latin. You know who's really great at making up languages was Tolkien. And so he understood Latin and Greek and those languages so well. He understood how languages were put together. So a lot of times you're going to start to see words that are recognizable because you know Latin. So for instance, and when we have vocab tests, it's going to help you to remember some of the words that we get in English from the Latin. So as far as amo, amare, to love, one of the tricks is you can look at the fourth principal part. Most of our derivatives come from the fourth principal part in Latin. And do you remember we count principal parts 1, 2, 3, 4. So it's straight reading from left to right. So it's really easy to tell which one is which principal part. So in any case, in amo, amare, amavi, amatum, some of the derivatives we get are amorous. And if you know you're feeling amorous, then you're feeling like you romantic. And amateur, an amateur is someone who loves what they do so much, but they don't earn money for it, and therefore they're an amateur. And you can see the amate, A-M-A-T, right from that fourth principal part. Canto, cantare, cantavi, cantatum. It means to sing. We get the word chant from it. And we also get the word cantata, which is a kind of music. The next one you should be pretty easy to see, laboro, laborare, laboravi, laboratum. So you're looking at that fourth principal part, and you can probably already see some words we get from there, like labor, elaborate, collaborate means to work together with someone, and to belabor a point means you keep like beating a dead horse, talking and talking and talking. Now, navigo, navigare, navigavi, navigatum means to sail. Remember, the second principal part has the to in front of it. That's the second principal part right there. Now, you can probably already see some words that come out of there. The words like navigate, navigation, navy. So if you take a look at this fourth principal part, you can almost see just from the beginning part of it the word navigate. So if you ever get to a vocab test and you have forgotten what a word means, look at the fourth principal part and that will help you. So the next one is opugno, opugnare, opugnawi, opugnatum, to attack. So we get the word repugnant from it, and pugnacious. And if you are pugnacious, you like to fight. You like to be the one that goes pick, and picks a fight till somebody pokes at somebody till they pick a fight at you. So those are your verbs that you'll need to know. And these are all called first conjugation verbs. And I'm going to tell you how to recognize a first conjugation verb. Now, there are a few conjugations that you will learn. There are 4 conjugations that you will learn. This is the first. It's so easy to recognize a first conjugation verb because every first conjugation verb, the second PP, we call the second principal part, remember, which is the second one right here, always ends in ARE. Most of the time the A has a macron on top. It doesn't always. So know that the second principal part always ends in ARE, and that makes it a first conjugation verb. That is going to be something that's really important to write down when you get your chart book, to write down that the first conjugation verb at second principal part ends in ARE. All right. Now, let's talk about a verb stem. You're going to need to know this for your homework. This is like one of the easiest things that you will learn. So a verb stem also comes from the second principal part. So as you're seeing, the second principal part is really important to know. It tells you what conjugation a verb belongs to. It also tells you what the actual meaning is, because remember, it starts with the word to. So here we have to love, amare. And I'm going to tell you how to find a verb stem. So to find the verb stem, totally easy. Go to the second principal part and take off the RE. So if we have amare and we take off the RE, the verb stem is simply AMA. So any of these would work. If we have the word opugnare, you go to the second principal part up here. Remember, this is first principal part. This is second principal part, third and fourth. Second principal part, you take off the ARE. Excuse me. You take off the RE. I got rid of both of them. Here. You take off the RE, and the verb stem that's left is opugna. So you're going to need to know it for your homework. Really, really easy to do. You just have to know you have to go to the second principal part and take off the RE. That's your verb stem. Now, you have one word in here that is not a verb, and it is known. And that word means not. And not is called, in English, called an adverb, and it means it goes with a verb. It'll help you to remember what an adverb is. It adds on to a verb, right? Almost. So it goes always right in front of the verb, and so you are not listening. He did not want chocolate cake. So it goes right in front of the verb, and it basically makes the verb do the opposite.